Wow, look at that. This is just absolutely fantastic.
With such an amazing coastline, it's no surprise that many of us fantasize about living in a wonderful home by the sea.
We've got salt water in our veins. Us Brits just love being by the sea. We're drawn to it, as if by instinct. And you can't help falling in love with the sights, the sounds, the smells. It's magical.
I'm architectural designer Charlie Luxton, and in this series I'll get a unique view of some of Britain's most fantastic coastal properties. I'll design fantasy seaside houses in some incredible locations.
Up here would just be my dream spot to put a house.
And meet the people who've realised that ambition to have a home by the sea.
It's referred to as the Teletubby house.
How do you feel about that? It's beautiful.
How could you not love that view?
In this week's programme, I'm in Kent and Sussex, exploring England's coastal frontier. Here, Napoleonic gun batteries are now beguiling homes. There's an architectural oasis in Britain's only desert. And renovated seafront apartments sparkle with Regency splendour.
What a beautiful room. As a stretch of coastline goes, they rarely get more quintessentially English than this, where I am today, travelling along the Channel coast of Sussex and Kent.
Home to the white cliffs of Dover, blue flag beaches, and historic seaside towns. It's the English coast known the world over. To start my journey, I'll be dropping anchor in Rye, on the border between the two counties. Taking me ashore from the English Channel along the River Rother is the pilot boat of the town's harbour master.
I'm making my way into Rye Harbour. This was once an incredibly important trading port. And it's a town with a very rich, colourful past.
Once surrounded by sea, this fortified hilltop town played an important role in England's defences. Today, though, fishing boats have replaced warships. And the cobbled streets that were once the haunt of smugglers now have a rather more genteel feel.
There's been a settlement here in Rye since at least Roman times, and the town centre is a testament to that extraordinary history. You've got medieval buildings jostling with Georgian, jostling with Victorian. It's all kooky angles and weird little pieces of design. It's the kind of thing that a Hollywood art department would be hard-pressed to recreate. It is just so visually rich and exciting.
But from the ancient cobbled streets of Rye, I'm heading 4 miles east along the coast to Camber Sands. And the first home on my itinerary is a beach property so modern it wouldn't look out of place in Miami. An award-winning home that oozes glamour. Built in 2011, it's a masterclass in modern beach living. I can't wait to find out more from owner, company director Michael.
Why did you decide to build a house on Canvas Sands? What's your connection here?
Well, it's the nearest nice sandy beach to where we live, and so we've been coming down here since the kids were small, and then about 12 years ago we got a Labrador, and of course dog loved coming down and swimming in the sea, and we just kept looking at the area and thinking, oh, it'll be lovely one day to have a house here.
I imagine these houses don't come up for sale very often.
No. The reputation is they get passed on from generation to generation. And I did the standard thing of putting a few notes through people's doors and say, would you be thinking of selling? And then, to my astonishment, I got a phone call from the people who own this.
And what was actually on the plot?
So it was a single-storey bungalow that probably had been here from, I guess, about the 1920s. No foundations, single skin for most of it, so water coming in through the roof, through the floors and everywhere.
So it wasn't a keeper?
So it was lovely in the summer, but it was a bit grim in the winter.
From those humble beginnings came this magnificent house. Designed in a unique V-shape, it cleverly provides shelter from the winds while still maximizing the amazing views. And this arresting piece of architecture is connected to the beach it sits on, thanks to the landscaped coastal garden of marram grass and wildflowers.
I love the really natural feeling landscape that you've got here. The boardwalks are beautiful.
The floor-to-ceiling glazing and clean lines are thoroughly modern, but there's also a real nod to the nautical. With porthole windows, western red cedar decking and an external staircase giving it a cruise ship feel.
This is beautiful. What was your inspiration behind the design of the house?
We'd been lucky enough to go down to Australia and New Zealand a couple of times, and I was always fascinated when I went there about the lovely modern architecture. On every beach, somebody had built something new and interesting. And so I thought, what a potential here, because it's a wonderful beach with an amazing view, but a great chance to do something different and original and quite contemporary, albeit trying to keep it timeless.
So were there lots of little ideas and things that you'd seen around the world that you tried to bring together and distill into this project?
Yes, I mean, obviously you want to have lovely external areas for enjoying the sea and the sun and everything, place to have the barbie on the beach. I like the boardwalk idea, it just gives you that transition from the house straight onto the beach.
So it's absolutely optimised for beach living?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
To take full advantage of the spectacular views, all the main living areas are on the first floor. There's a stunning open-plan living, dining, kitchen, and 4 bedrooms, including a master suite with a sleek glass balcony looking out to sea.
What was your kind of wish list that you started from?
Obviously to maximise the views, so maximise the ceiling heights, maximise the glazing, being able to open as many windows as possible so that on a nice sunny day you can open up.
Done that. It must be really dramatic here in winter.
Yes, it's amazing because obviously you get the much rougher seas, and when the tide comes right up to the garden gate, it's really
So it comes right up to here?
Absolutely spectacular, and on a rough day you get the spray coming up to the first floor window. So, yeah.
So if you're standing here, it's sort of like Captain
you get
Ahab.
the sea spray. Yeah.
That must be brilliant.
Yeah.
And while this house was inspired by an Antipodean lifestyle, it was definitely built for a very different climate. Its robust masonry construction, every piece of timber, bolt and screw were chosen to withstand even the most brutal conditions. Ultimately, though, it's not the architecture or the clever construction that's the most arresting thing about this beautiful home.
What about the house makes you smile when you come down to stay here?
I think it's just the sheer scale of the light and the view. It's incredibly calming and relaxing, and whatever stresses are going on in life, you get here and it's just a wonderful sense of peace.
Visiting Sea Gem has been a dazzling start to my journey along this stretch of England's Channel coast. On the next leg, I'll be heading to a bizarre coastal community where people design and build fascinating homes in the shadow of a nuclear power station.
Dungeness is a bit like Marmite. You either get it or you don't get it. And if you get it, then it really deserves some fantastic architecture.
And I'll visit the former railway carriage that's a Mad Hatter of a holiday home.
There's an element of Alice in Wonderland about this house.
Yeah.
I'm in the southeast of England, visiting some wonderful homes along this Channel coast. It's our gateway to Europe. However, its beautiful beaches and dramatic scenery, conversely, make it a hard place to leave.
The whole of this part of the Kent and Sussex coast has a real interesting mix of architectural styles. But I'm on my way to one specific location that possibly has the most eclectic and interesting selection of coastal homes anywhere in Britain.
This may look like America's Wild West, but this amazing landscape isn't Texas or Colorado, it's Kent. Just 8 miles east of Camber Sands, Dungeness is a surreal environment. Here, a nuclear power plant towers over Britain's only desert, while this barren headland is also an internationally important conservation area. And amidst this strange juxtaposition of nuclear and nature, there are people who choose to call this place home.
As someone passionate about architecture and design, Dungeness has always really fascinated me because every time you come here, there is something new and intriguing to discover.
The area's history and protected status mean development here is strictly controlled. The first home I'm here to visit belongs to an interior designer who's created a fabulously stylish holiday home inside a quirky existing building.
Hello, Keith. How are you?
Hi.
So this is your place?
Yep.
And it's called Dun Running.
Yeah, that's right. Basically, it's called Dun Running because it's got a railway carriage inside it, and the people that put it here originally called it Dun Running because it had done its running.
At first glance, Keith's place looks more like a large garden shed than first-class carriage. But its history can be tracked back to the 1920s. Back then, railway workers hauled old rolling stock off the line and converted them into rows of holiday homes.
Should we go have a look inside?
Yeah, yeah.
Fantastic. Oh wow, this is lovely, isn't it? This light's fantastic into this entrance hall.
Yeah, this wasn't here originally. Basically, it was quite dark in here, and it used to be the utility room.
In the last 3 years, Keith has painstakingly renovated the two-bed home. Once a mismatch of extensions, it's been stripped right back to create a bright, modern space.
That's the bedroom. This is lovely. I like that wallpaper. Very simple, isn't it? It's not cluttered in any way. Beautiful. It's a lovely room. Oh, I like the kitchen as well. That's very nice. And the height of the ceilings are kind of intriguing, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah. And there are some areas that are much lower than others. This was sort of part of the extension that was put on in the 1990s.
There's an element of Alice in Wonderland about this house. Like, you know, standing in here, It's kind of slightly bonkers, but it's really extraordinary. It so fits the landscape.
From the outside, you would never, ever believe that it was a two-bedroom house. It does have a sort of TARDIS-like quality to it.
The white-painted pine-panelled walls throughout the home also help boost that sense of space,
Oh, this is a lovely room.
even in the most bijou of bedrooms.
You just can't beat this texture, can you? Just
No,
the
it's
kind of
incredible.
patina.
I mean, one of the things that we did was we actually painted it in emulsion so that you got a lot more of the texture of the wood coming through, because originally this was all covered in very, very dark green paint and black paint.
But the room I'm really excited to see is at the heart of this property.
So this is actually, I'm stepping into the railway carriage.
Yeah, this is the original carriage. So this is a sort of carriage from 1905. So it's because it's a guards van. That's when you get this kind of lantern inside, and it allows so much light.
It does, doesn't it? It's a really nice for the light. And then that's the
that's the
beautiful,
view.
uninterrupted Dungeness view.
Yeah.
I love the different floors that are all patched in.
Well, when we first got it, it was carpeted. So basically, we had no idea that any of this was here, and the rooms were separated as well.
This was more than one room?
Yes, this was 2 bedrooms and then a small sitting area here.
What? In this bit?
Yes.
That's ludicrous.
Even as one room at 18 by 11 foot, it's not huge. But by opting for mid-century furniture that's much smaller than modern pieces, Keith's ensured it doesn't feel crowded.
Things that I think are fantastic about this is the way that you've used the railway carriage. You've used the kind of existing building. You haven't tried to cover it up with your own style or taste. You've just made everything that was here just that much better and that much nicer and really expressed it. And I just think the way that the spaces work for their size, it's brilliant. It's a beautiful, beautiful house.
Thank you.
You might have thought that the remote isolation and the proximity to a major nuclear power station would have put people off wanting to live here. But the stark, otherworldly beauty of Dungeness makes it an incredibly desirable place to live.
And alongside the converted railway carriages and old fishermen's cottages, there's a growing number of cutting-edge, architect-designed homes. And as the day draws to a close, I've just got time to see the newest build on the block. Showing me round is the man who designed it, Guy Holloway.
So designing here must be quite a loaded kind of brief, because it's becoming a kind of who's who of great modern architecture, isn't it?
There is this kind of architectural legacy that's building up, some really stunning houses. So there's a bit of pressure. Every time a new one comes along, it has to be slightly better.
First impressions are that Guy rose to the challenge with this stylish single-storey building which consists of 3 interconnected cabins. It was built for a London-based family who wanted to replace this run-down bungalow with a cutting-edge retreat. But any avant-garde architecture also needs to comply with strict planning conditions.
You can't put a house here any larger than the existing footprint, because it's a protected beach, and you have to design something that feels like it's of its place.
So you've tried to kind of keep the memory of the building you've replaced in the new design?
Yeah, and try to put the house in such a way that has minimum amount of impact on the landscape. So the whole house is floating on little piled foundations, so we just put the house on top of that.
So you're just touching the beach just on a few rods, effectively?
Yeah, that's it.
On top of these clever foundations, the 3 sections are all clad in different materials. Siberian larch, Corten steel, and cement fiberboard. In time, the larch will weather silver, the Corten will redden, and the effect will be to echo the natural landscape.
I love the subtlety of the way it will age and the way that you accept that weathering as a core part of the aesthetic.
The people in Dungeness weather, the place weathers, so you've got to go with it.
Inside, it's also all about connecting to the landscape. The main living area has an almost panoramic view out to sea. And when the sun's shining, it all opens up onto the decking.
It's absolutely beautiful. I love the joinery and these incredible corner windows. They're fantastic, aren't they?
Well, I like the way they disappear into the wall, and the glazing comes together at this one point, which is really neat.
Guy's attention to detail also continues in the dining space, where there's an artfully placed slot window.
When you're having dinner, the power station just lights up, so it's a bit like your own candle show coming around the table, which is really neat.
For all its clever design, this isn't a show home. It's very much a family space. As well as 2 stylish double bedrooms, there's a fantastic bunkhouse, which sleeps up to 6 kids. Joined by a floating glass corridor, it's the perfect hideaway. And like all good designers, Guy has given it a road test.
My whole family stayed here. My kids are really excited about the bunk room. They're in and out the window, running around the whole place. And we've flown kites on the beach and then paddled in the sea, and yeah, it's great.
This build has certainly fulfilled its brief. It's an eco-friendly family space, perfectly in tune with its surroundings.
When you drive along and you see these incredible examples of contemporary architecture, do you feel that yours sort of sits in nicely?
I really hope that we're adding to the story of Dungeness. Dungeness is a bit like Marmite. You either get it or you don't get it. And if you get it, then it really deserves some fantastic architecture and really eclectic architecture, and that's where its strength is.
Well, I think you fit in. I think this is a beautiful, beautiful building.
It's time for me to leave Dungeness and its eclectic mix of properties. On the next leg of my journey, I'm heading further along the Kent coast, where I'm blown away by a military conversion.
That is bonkers.
And discover a New England-style home, lovingly restored.
Was it one of those things that every time you took something down, something else fell off, and before you knew it, you were standing in a pile of rubble?
I'm travelling along the intriguing coastline of Kent and Sussex, visiting some fascinating homes by the sea. So far, I've been dazzled by a contemporary Sussex beach house and astounded by the surreal landscape and eclectic, eccentric architecture of Dungeness. For the next part of my journey, I'm heading 10 miles northeast from Dungeness to the small village of Dymchurch, right on the edge of the Romney Marshes. Down on its glorious sandy beach, I'm meeting up with Guy Ruddy, who lives close by.
This is a very kind of unusual stretch of coast, isn't it?
It is. It's what you see is all reclaimed. You go back 200 years, all this would have been underwater. This wall wouldn't have been here. You go 5-6 miles over to Port Lympne, there would have been no sheep, no land, no houses, no nothing. All
So
underwater.
the whole Romney Marsh area is just
Yes.
completely reclaimed.
Yes.
And so how did you end up living specifically here?
Well, I found an unusual pile of bricks and decided to convert it into a house. More for me, maybe.
And there are around 1.2 million bricks in this particular pile. Rising above the seawall, this imposing former fortress is Guy's home. It's one of 140 Martello towers that were built in the early 19th century to keep Napoleon at bay. But Lord Nelson's victory over the French meant it was never needed. And aside from being used as a watchtower during World War II, the 30-foot building stood empty for nearly 200 years.
What was the condition of the building when you bought it?
Access was at first floor level by ladder. Obviously there was no roof, it was just open to the elements. There was no services. It was derelict, very derelict.
So what did it actually cost you?
£23,333.
When?
In 1987. and it's taken me probably up till very recently, when you can actually see the rendering was done last year, so it's now finished.
They take their name from similar fortifications that existed at Mortella Point in Corsica, and 103 towers were built along the southeast coast. 45 still remain, and this is number 23.
It's pretty imposing, isn't it, from down here?
It's a big structure. It looks a lot bigger than it actually is.
So this would have been the original doorway?
Yeah, this is 200 years old. This is the original stonework. This is, you can see that's not so good, that bit. This is the original 200-year-old oak front door, which...
This was the front door,
Yeah.
designed to repel the French?
Yeah, I've had to sort of clean it up a bit.
And to make things more difficult for attackers, this front door is also 10 foot above ground level.
When I was digging the old floor up, I found the original ladder chute, which they would have shut the door and pulled the ladder up to stop the French getting in.
So the ladder would have slid up through here?
Absolutely.
And then shut the door,
Absolutely.
no one's getting in?
No.
That's ingenious, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow, what a space.
The first floor of this Grade 2 listed building would once have been divided into living quarters for the garrison. Now it's a magnificent open-plan kitchen and dining area. Guy has done most of the restoration himself, and there are some beautiful original features.
What an incredible piece of vaulting. Because it's not only vaulted that way, it's then in a sort of donut shape.
Apparently they built the structure to there. They then filled the whole building with sand, put a wooden curve on it, pulled it all the way around the building, so you had it like a donut.
In sand?
In sand. Then they would have put a lime mortar on top of it to harden it. Then they laid the bricks on, probably half a dozen layers of bricks. And then once they'd finished, they would have come in through that front door and they would have dug out, probably I worked out about 100 tons of sand.
That is bonkers.
If building it was difficult enough, renovating it was no picnic either. These walls are 14 foot at their thickest, designed to stop enemy fire. So putting in a window was a huge battle for Guy.
How long did it take you to cut a window through there?
That opening there probably took me a week.
So it's completely solid bricks.
Wouldn't want to do it again, I'm too old now.
And the challenges continued on the floor below, where Guy created a spare bedroom and bathroom, all on a curve in a windowless space. It's quite an achievement. But the real showstopper of this clever conversion is at the very top of the tower.
Oh, this is amazing. Look, there's another lovely little vault. Whoa, what a space. Wow, what a view.
This wonderful theatre of light has 32 separate windows. A solid oak vaulted ceiling supported by one central beam. Used as the main bedroom and lounge area, it's a stunning addition to the tower.
So this originally would have been open.
This was the gun emplacement, so a cannon would have sat in the centre here on a sliding carriage. The idea was the cannon's range was more than halfway to the next one, so that the cannon could stop the French penetrating the coastline.
But never used in anger.
But never used in anger because the war was over.
Here's a building designed to defend a nation, but never called to arms. 200 years later, thanks to the determination of one man, it's been given a new life. As a unique and very special coastal home.
The fact that you've got 360-degree view, beach running all the way down there, that is just fantastic.
If spending 25 years renovating a wreck isn't for you, there are plenty of ready-made homes for sale along this stretch of coast. And if you want history, then where better than Hastings? Amongst the meandering alleyways of its old town is this 4-bed period townhouse. It's Grade 2 listed and will set you back just shy of £400,000. It's definitely one to keep an eye on. 5 miles east of Hastings is the coastal hamlet of Pett Level. A short walk from these ancient sandstone cliffs is this modern 5-bedroom home. It's got double balconies and double height windows, but be prepared to part with £500,000 to buy it. And perched on the iconic White Cliffs of Dover is this grand 6-bedroom mansion. It has lovely views over the Channel coast, but at £1.675 million, it's not exactly going for a song, especially as bluebirds aren't included. For the next property on my itinerary, I'm retracing my steps through the historic town of Rye and out towards the harbour. Down by the quay, there's a real eclectic mix of houses. And one in particular has caught my eye.
Now this is Piper's Cottage, built in the 1880s for a local fisherman. And it has, over the years, been refurbished and extended and clad in this white weatherboarding. And it gives it what you might call a New England style. Now the great irony is, of course, that we were building houses that looked like this before New England was even discovered.
This colonial-style home has certainly grown and evolved over the last 130 years. I'm meeting owners Jason and Sophie, who are behind its transformation.
How did you end up down here at the harbour?
Well, it was all thanks to Jason's brother, really, who Jason works with. They're both estate agents. And he knew we were looking for a project because we lived in a townhouse in Rye. And one day he just saw this derelict cottage. Jason had a look, as it was round, and just sort of fell in love with it, and we just thought we'd go for it.
But it was in very poor condition when you bought it, wasn't it?
It was. I mean, it was in a shocking state, really. There was water coming through the ceilings. It was a complete project.
And was it one of those things that every time you took something down, something else fell off, and before you knew it, you were...
we
standing in a pile of rubble.
We were left with 3 walls.
Yeah, okay.
And you're thinking they're
yeah.
quite expensive, those 3 walls.
Yeah.
We better rebuild this and get on with it.
7 years later, the hodgepodge of additions has been replaced with a charming home. The main living area is now on the 1st floor, maximising those wonderful views. Jason and Sophie have worked hard to inject history back into the house, despite remodelling throughout.
You've got the original floorboards in here.
Oh, so these are the original boards?
Yep.
And what about these amazing timbers?
Actually, we put those in. We took the ceiling down and found out that timbers weren't particularly interesting, so we took all those out. I got these from a salvage yard. Weren't really into sort of plasterboarded ceilings and things. Didn't think it had the right look for the house, so we put the wooden ceilings up.
It's lovely. I love all the texture. There's lots of textures
lots of
going
things going on.
Sadly, the original fireplaces had been ripped out, but the modern log burner and shaker-style kitchen all complement the cottage feel. And Sophie and Jason's collection of antiques and recycled furniture really bring the space alive. It feels as much a gallery as a home.
This is a lovely room, isn't it? It's got a nice, sort of completely different aspect from the front of the house, looking out towards the harbour. It's much more private and tucked away.
It is.
What about these things?
They're great, aren't they?
This is genius. So what, old shutters?
Old French shutters from an antiques dealer in Rye.
He was unloading them one day. I saw them and I thought, I don't know what to do with them, but they look so cool, I had to have them.
Yeah.
And then they just sat around for about 6 months until they had that sort of eureka moment. I thought, you know what? They're going to be great as doors.
What I like is that it's a very sort of restrained palette of materials in here, and so it really draws your eye to the beautiful things.
For the best views in this nautically themed home, we've headed for the upper deck.
You get a lovely roof up here. And the view, look at that, that is great. So you added this whole story on?
Yes, that's right. I mean, it was originally we're standing on what was the flat roof, and we thought if we create another floor up here, then we get a much better sort of view and sea view.
So So you weren't tempted to make this a kind of super slick glass box on top of the side?
We had various sort of comments and people sort of saying you should do that and go mad and go sort of really sort of slick Art Deco-y type look, but to be honest, I don't think that's really us.
Do you know what? I think this is far more contemporary in a way. I think there's a really interesting movement in modern British architecture which is about reinterpreting traditional vernacular, you know, with a twist. And I think this sort of does that, you know, with the very simple modern windows and the lovely kind of shapes. It's a very nice looking house.
Thank you.
As I embark on the last leg of my journey along the Kent and Sussex coast, I design a unique fantasy home.
What I'd like to do is to get hold of, say, 3 boats.
That's as eclectic as the shoreline it sits on.
I mean, it's a pretty way out idea, but then shows this whole stretch of coastline.
And I revel in Regency grandeur at a restored townhouse in Brighton.
So this is a bathroom.
I know, it's small, but, you know, we like it.
I'm on the final part of my journey along the Kent and Sussex coast. So far, I've seen some really diverse buildings that have all been influenced by their seaside location. Now I'm itching to have a go at designing the kind of home I would like to build here. And I've chosen a spot for this flight of fancy near Rye that I think epitomises this area's stunning simplicity.
So what's lovely about this location is you get the interest and excitement of the sea on one side, all the way down towards Camber Sands. But when you look behind, you look into this lovely wetland area, which is a massive nature reserve with amazing bird species. I think this would be a fantastic place to be. One thing I've seen a couple of places is this idea of reusing old boats. And I think there's something just so fitting for this coast, which almost feels like half of the things here have just been washed up by the last storm. So I think what I'd like to do is to get hold of, say, 3 boats, 3 beautiful old wooden or steel boats, turn them upside down, and then sit them onto a plinth, and then lift them off the floor to about 2 meters.
The boats would become vaulted roofs atop 3 single-storey sections, with a combination of rusted metal and glass panels forming the walls.
Have a little timber wharf jetty section behind it, much like these groins that I'm sitting on, which is another bit of language I really like for this part of the coast.
Under my central boat would be the main living space, while the smaller side boats would house the 2 bedrooms. These would be joined at random angles to the main hull, giving the impression of a jumbled, upturned shipwreck.
So that from a distance, they really would look like they'd sort of washed up. I mean, it's a pretty way out idea, but then shows this whole stretch of coastline.
For the final stop of my journey, I'm swapping deserted beaches and heading 50 miles west for the bright lights of Britain's most cosmopolitan seaside resort, Brighton. Vibrant, colourful, creative, there's nothing dull about this town, especially its architecture. From the opulent royal pavilion built for George IV to the villas and townhouses along the seafront.
This is Brunswick Square and Brunswick Terrace. It's one of the great pieces of Regency master planning and architecture.
The Regency style encapsulates elegance and a lightness of touch, and it was all the rage in the Georgian period of the late 18th and early 19th centuries. Designed by renowned architect Charles Busby in the early 1800s, the Brunswick estate was the epitome of a Georgian des res.
And I'm lucky enough to be visiting 2 properties here today, both of which have got the most incredible sea views.
But this really is a tale of 2 very different homes. One is a masterclass of minimalism, a clutter-free contemporary apartment behind a classical facade. The other, an opulent sprawl of 10 large rooms over 4 expansive floors that celebrates its heritage. And that's where I'm heading first. It's owned by former insurance broker Phil.
Hello. Hello, Phil. How are you?
This grand residence began life as one of 6 show homes on the estate, but was then divided into 9 separate bedsits.
The Georgians knew how to make a really good staircase. This is beautiful.
Phil spent 3 years lovingly restoring it back to a single house.
Look at this. What a beautiful room. I mean, this must have been like the height of Georgian sophistication and taste.
Absolutely. I mean, these places were built to show off.
The Georgians were kind of got it right, didn't they, in terms of decoration, in that this room is highly decorative.
Yeah.
I mean, these amazing plaster panels, the cornicing, the coving is incredibly ornate. Yeah. But somehow they pull it off.
Yeah, there's an awful lot here, but it doesn't feel overwhelming.
Working with a small team of craftspeople, Phil painstakingly stripped back years of paint and modifications, revealing and restoring some exquisite original features. There's the Rococo-style wall panel with fleur-de-lis patterns. Exquisitely detailed cornicing of acanthus and palm leaf form the ceiling's borders. And the floor is oak parquet with mahogany edging.
These rooms, these sort of piano noble, I think it's called, isn't it? The kind of the entertaining rooms. Is that how you use the space?
For me, it only makes sense, really, when there's people in here enjoying it. We allow people to get married here. We have special events here. It's used as film locations. And every time something comes in, for me, the house suddenly comes alive.
I can certainly imagine this ornate reception room full of people. But as well as a space for hire, this is also Phil's home. It just so happens his personal places are equally as lavish.
OK, so this would have been the master bedroom and bathroom.
So this is a bathroom. This is an original Regency bathroom.
I know, it's small, but, we like it.
And plain. All this decoration.
I know.
In a bathroom.
It's ridiculous. I mean, this bit always reminds me of the back of a ship.
I mean, this is all beautiful. I mean, this is mahogany.
Yes.
Inside.
Indeed.
Painted on the outside.
I know. It's strange, isn't it? And this room was built specific just to show the different finishes available, the different units, different styles that are available. There isn't one moulding here that is the same.
I mean, surely this is one of the most opulent bathrooms in Christendom. I mean, this is ludicrous.
The whole of Christendom.
I would have thought so. I mean, this is ludicrous. So this is your bedroom.
Yes.
So this is your view from bed.
It's pretty good, isn't it? The house is beautiful, but I think the best feature is the outside, is the sea.
It's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
The period splendour of Phil's home is astounding, but few of these glorious buildings are now single dwellings. Behind the grand facades are properties of all shapes and sizes.
Hi, it's Charlie.
Hi, Charlie. Come in.
Just 4 doors down, I'm visiting a compact contemporary apartment owned by interior designer Roz and her partner David, who's an architect.
Hello.
Hello, Charlie.
Hello, Roz. Pleased to meet you.
Welcome.
This is beautiful. All the mouldings. It's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a beautiful house.
And I love the way you painted everything completely white, so the textures of these forms really come through.
It's my colour.
Is it? White is your colour?
White is my colour.
Well, it's all the colours, isn't it? You know?
Yeah. I mean, it reflects and sparkles with the sunshine.
This chic apartment is just 75 square metres in size. And I've got a feeling my tour of the place is going to be whistle-stop.
Welcome to the kitchen.
OK, so that's compact and bijou.
Absolutely.
But everything you need for a kitchen. And then this is the bedroom.
Correct.
Right, I'm going to pop up here.
Welcome to the boudoir.
Now, that's kind of That's a lifestyle decision, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
And also, you can see the sea from the bed.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So I take it then that this is the bathroom.
Correct.
This is about the quickest house tour I've ever done. Oh, I love this stone. Very stylish, guys. And that's it.
That's it. Yep, you blinked. Fantastic.
But I've just got one question.
Where's all your stuff?
Oh, we haven't got much stuff.
Haven't you? Have you sort of purged yourselves all to live here?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, we feel hugely privileged to live in a house like this. And just coming through the front door, you just feel the spirits of all the old aristocrats that used to own and occupy this building. So, and it's the same wherever you go in Brunswick Square and Brunswick Terrace. So you do get this feeling when you come in of fantastic history over the last 200 years.
This apartment really is a fantastic blend of old and new.
That's such a great view, isn't it?
And a perfect way to end my visit to this wonderful part of Britain's coastline. From Brighton's Shingle Beach and the white cliffs of Dover to Britain's only desert at Dungeness, it's a diverse stretch of coast which is matched by the variety of architecture you find here.
It's really brought home to me just how eclectic our coastal properties can be. But the one thing that I found everywhere is a real shared passion for this part of Britain's coast. And I can see why. It is a beautiful place to call home.
Next time, I'm in the northeast of England. Here, medieval fortresses are family pads. Seaside semis mask spacious interiors. And bedroom balconies open up onto spectacular scenery.
Wow, look at that view.